And welcome to Game Domain, and for this video, I'll be ranking the Uncharted villains from all the games except Golden Abyss because I didn't play that game. I know there are a lot of villains, but I'm just going to be talking about the 2 or maybe 3 main villains. If you want to see a video like this but talking about secondary villains, let me know in the comments. Of course, there will be a ton of spoilers in this video, so be warned. Last on this list is Talbot. Really just because he didn't have a lot of character development. You don't really learn about his backstory. Pretty much every time you see him, he's just leaving Nate and everyone else to die, like with the spiders, the house on fire, setting fire near a ledge. It just doesn't make sense. You would think after they escape so many times, he would just shoot them so he could be done with Nathan Drake. Nope, he just makes it difficult for them to escape. I understand all the villains stall, but at least don't plan on just making it difficult for Nate to survive. Also, once again, we learn almost nothing about him. You learn that Flynn was friends with Nate, but turned on him to assist LAZAREVIC. You learn that Eddie Raja was a colleague of Nate. Why can't Talbot have a backstory that's even somewhat interesting? Next is Roman. Roman really had the potential to be an interesting villain, but he barely gets any screen time. At least you get a little understanding of the backstory. Sully owes him money. It's not much, but it's something. There's really not much to say about Roman due to the lack of screen time. MARLOWE actually has a pretty interesting backstory, but once again, she does not get a lot of screen time. She's part of a secret society that is hundreds of years old and wants to find the Atlantis of the Sands. She even worked with Sully, and if Sully didn't work with her, Nate probably never would have met him. Next on the list is NAVARRO. NAVARRO doesn't really seem like a main villain throughout the game, and that's why the plot twist at the end is so surprising. You think Roman is the main villain, but NAVARRO betrays him and tries to escape. You don't learn too much about NAVARRO, but that one scene is just so well done and unexpected. ASAV is the head of an Indian rebel militia, whose goals are clear throughout the beginning of the game, which is okay because you didn't know he was going to sell the Tusk of Ganesh for a bomb that would kill thousands of people. His backstory isn't the greatest, but it's there. He was a doctor turned rebel who had worked with NADINE before, and you learn a decent amount about him. And I don't think the final boss fight is actually that bad. It's a lot of just quick time events, but it's actually not as bad as some other games, like in Uncharted 2. Eddie Raja. Eddie is different than all the other villains, as in he just has a very different personality. He also has sort of a quirky overtone, as even willing to assist Nate later in the game so he could also save himself, instead of other villains like RAFE, who would rather die with Nathan Drake than let him escape. He even knows the island is cursed and tells Roman, but of course Roman doesn't believe him. FLYNN seems more punchable and pretentious than evil. Like I mentioned before, he was friends with Nate until he double-crossed him and caused Nate to get arrested so he can work with LAZAREVIC. Flynn is also written so well. He's not like LAZAREVIC where he's just crazy. He's a traitor who wants money. LAZAREVIC is really as close to a stereotypical villain that there is in Uncharted. He's a psychopathic warlord who wants world domination, and everybody thinks he's dead. He gets a good amount of screen time and makes the most out of all the scenes he's in. Towards the end of Uncharted 2, when you fight LAZAREVIC, when he is supposedly invincible, you probably could have predicted that he would want to fight Nate 1v1 while he has armed mercenaries around him. Nadine Ross because of Uncharted The Lost Legacy, where she's actually the protagonist. I don't know if it's fair to count what happened in Uncharted The Lost Legacy since she isn't a villain of it, but you learn that she's not even an evil person and saves Sam Drake a couple times in The Lost Legacy. Keep in mind Sam helped kill almost her entire army. Anyway, in the ending of Uncharted 4, she doesn't attempt to kill Nate or RAFE. Nadine lets Nate and RAFE decide their fates. Also, if you're wondering where Nadine would be in the list if I wasn't counting character development in The Lost Legacy, Nadine would be right behind LAZAREVIC on this list. And the number 1 villain on this list is RAFE ADLER. RAFE isn't inherently evil. Like Flynn, he seems more punchable than actually evil. His goals are very clear. He wants to accomplish something and be well known. He spends 15 years trying to find Captain Henry Avery's treasure, and again was a former colleague of Nate and also Sam. Once RAFE found out Sam was alive, he bailed him out of prison for his help. Sam betrayed RAFE and only got Nate to help when he made up a story about him owing Alcazar money. RAFE teams up with Nadine and Shoreline to get the treasure, and he eventually betrays Nadine by paying off Shoreline. If you were paying attention in one of the Madagascar chapters, RAFE offers to let Nate and Sam live if they just walk away from the treasure. Let me know who your favorite and least favorite Uncharted villains are in the comments. Thank you for watching. Bye.